It's going to be fun. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Get Up Girl. I am here today with one of my good biz boss, babe, all the above friends, Rochelle Jaimes. And it's not Jaimes, it's Jaimes, girl. Do people always ask you when you say, like, you have to say Jaimes? Because if not, then they're going to write it with an H, right?
Yeah, they always say James or Jimenez. It starts going all over the place.
All the above. Yeah. And I really love your hair. You changed the color, or what did you do? It looks like a little.
It's a little lighter. It's I'm gonna be getting my roots done soon. But yeah, and it's growing out, so I'm happy right now.
It's really long. And I haven't seen you from our last Instagram chat that we did like back during the pandemic. And so I used to see you all the time in person. Haven't seen you in a while. So Rochelle, how are you and how's your business going right now?
Wow, Diva, thank you for having me on. I'm so happy to connect with you always.
Yeah.
You know, I'm watching what you're doing all the time and always getting inspired by watching you take action. So, you know,
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm trying. I'm taking action, girl.
Girl. And yeah, well, beauty business is better now than ever.
Wow.
I've totally like elevated all my packages to adding styling to my makeup services.
Yeah.
Which is really helping, which that came out of the pandemic, girl, was like, I had to get hungry for business and like, see how could I help women? And during the pandemic, since so many women in business were having to go online, having to be seen, I was like, okay, what I could do for now is I can help women like you shop for like your virtual, online presence. And so that all started in the pandemic. I had a client, she needed outfits for her IG interviews and her classes that she's hosting. And I was like, perfect. It's virtual, it's online, it's all good,
So is it like outfits belly button up? Is it just like
basically like shirts? Like
and jackets and shirts and tank tops, right? What kind of skin do you want to show, etc.? Okay.
Exactly. And also I think I'm gonna be doing upcoming webinar makeup classes. I've been taking some classes from the Makeup Mogul. She's awesome. So if you're a beauty pro, she does teach to makeup artists specifically, but she is girl, even if it's you, I was like, any businesswoman needs to know click by click how to have a webinar for free and leverage off your knowledge. As a makeup artist, we can't just rely on service to service that doesn't pay the bills. So we have to leverage on the knowledge, and we can also leverage on merchandise. So I'm looking at creating product now.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that really intrigues me. I've been looking into that with a couple girlfriends. Question for you, Rochelle, and everybody else listening out there. I wonder if they have the same question as I. Are there any particular colors or things like on the face kind of makeup or hair that you've noticed that stands out better or differently on camera?
I mean, I love color on camera. Color, white, ivories. Right now, I like to style by the season. So that's how we differentiate your look from season to season. So like right now, we're like rocking like pinks, corals are really beautiful. But white is honestly my favorite color to style because it's like a power color. Also red. Red really shows up. It's, that's you, girl. You're a red. So, represent the red because it really speaks to, it's a powerful color, and a beautiful color.
I was wondering about that though, because of all the videos that I've done in the winter and I have sweaters on, but then does it transfer over if somebody's watching that video in the summer and they're watching me and I have a sweater on? So I always thought if it should just be year-round clothes. Have you noticed that?
So now you're talking about you want to look timeless.
Okay.
So timeless is all neutral colors. It's black, white, like I said, white, neutral like a beige, and navy. So and even they're considering leopard, illegal leopard.
Leopard is
leopard as a neutral because it goes with black and white and beige. And so those are the timeless colors. Style lines, basic I'm like right now I'm teaching one of my clients to collect her basics along our shopping journey. I'm picking out styles that are gonna make her brand. It's like what I'm doing is I'm like my brand is pink. So
Okay.
I'm representing with the pink, right? If your
Yep.
brand has like blue and orange, then there should be more incorporation in blue and orange into your backdrop and
Okay.
into your clothing and even into your makeup because it's the brand. It needs to look cohesive,
Mm.
right? So I'm creating a brand image for my clients right now. Like, okay, in your area of fitness, how can we make your brand cohesive and also elevate you in your photos so that you can stand out from all the other fab fitness girls?
Mm.
Like, and then how can our photo shoots translate your brand? And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm taking everything I learned from working in the fashion industry for many years. What I used to do in the fashion industry, it's so crazy, is that me and the stylists that I work with, one of the girls, Adrienne Rabago in Hollywood, she's amazing. And she's my new resource for styling. So, girl, if you want a style session with her, I got you. um, I used to watch her come onto set, and we would always be shooting with new models. And new models, they don't know how to pose, they don't know how to feature clothes or show off their
Yeah.
face for a makeup campaign. So we were in there coaching them, teaching them how to pose, showing them the ropes and hyping them up. And that's a lot of what I do with my clients. I'll help them to not only give them the makeup they need that day, the styling they need that day. I also create a little creative direction. But now I'm talking brand strategy. Like, how are you going to show up on social media? What does your next launch look like? What does your IGTVs look like? What does your photo shoots look like? Lifestyle, so we can incorporate who you are and you can attract that audience to authentic to yourself, and also business photos, that I like to go like Vogue meets Forbes. It's
Yeah.
like if you were to go to
Like,
Forbes magazine, how
yeah.
is Joanna gonna look
Yeah.
as a fitness woman,
Uh,
boss, multiple business woman,
uh,
right? Like, how do we fuse that? And so
yeah. I
that's
think
where
of like
this
J
one,
Lo meets the streets, right?
girl, J Lo's the inspiration. She like rocks fitness wear, sportswear, and makes it
Yeah.
look very glam, and
Yes.
that's
That's
where I'm at.
exactly what I tell people. I'm like, I'm J Lo meets the streets, like a little bit of both.
Ooh,
Like,
yes.
yeah. Well,
You have
little.
such an amazing figure, Joanna. You need to show it off, girl. Like, and I love those jeans you were getting from Vidora,
The
Liza.
best jeans ever. Shout out to our friend Liza Rodriguez. Yeah. Uh, question for somebody that's listening, Rochelle. That's like, well, I'm not a model. I'm a anything, a coach, or I don't have a business yet, but I want to start one, and I want to start on Instagram. So how are you going to tell me to pose? How do you work with somebody like that?
Yeah, I had a young girl come to me recently. She went from teaching Zumba to teaching twerking. Which is very hard to do. Okay, it's a workout.
How fun.
Um,
Was she adding twerking in her Zumba classes already? I wonder.
yeah, we were.
Yeah,
She
like,
was leading
yeah,
into
here's
it.
the extra. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
and then she started getting women who were
Wow.
requesting classes
Yeah,
to
she
learn how
teaches
to
that.
twerk. Yeah.
Yes.
So then I said, okay, girl, we need to get you a photo shoot campaign going to announce this new launch of this new service, this new package that you're going to be promoting. I personally subscribe to Social Curator with Jasmine Star, who's like
Mhm.
taking over like how to teach you what's going on with social media. And I've learned a lot from her how to plan a launch to a nurse. It's like a 4-week process. So then I'll just go in. Like if it was you, I'd be like, all right, Joanna, you're gonna introduce your next J Lo booty course class, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we need to let's map out a 4-week, what's going to be your 4-week launch strategy. That's also what I'm including in my services right now. I'm
Mhm.
helping them with the strategy. So that way we know like if you're the first week, you're going to remind yourself, everyone, who you are. Hi, I'm Joanna Vargas. I'm a fitness, a boss woman. you know, I educate, I train, I motivate. And so Then we would talk about let's talk about who Joanna is, and let's talk about a photo campaign of who Joanna is in a lifestyle version, but elevated, obviously, set up, And then the second week is teaching people the value of what you know, so that people know you are the girl to go to, right? So that's the second week. You gotta. So so when I'm imagining in these weeks, I'm thinking, well, what photos can translate that, right? So this is how I prepare for a photo shoot. I prepare for a photo shoot by lining up these aspects, right? Lifestyle of Joanna, who she is, what she represents. Second week, Joanna's the expert. This is where she's spoken. This is who she's trained. This is the odd. Maybe we'll show you speaking at the audiences, or videos of you at retreats, investing in yourself, right? Like, and then you're gonna go into the third week, which is I think it's like nurturing your. Anyways, it's like this whole strategy, nurturing your client, giving them the questions that start to open up their mind of what's, why I need her new service, right? And then the fourth week is like going for the promotion. So what photo is going to be the photo? Like, I've seen your photos, how you post JLo, but you could have your own photo with saying the JLo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What colors are we using? What outfits are we shopping at Fabletics, and including them as a sponsor? This is also where I'm starting to teach women that these photos can be why we're doing these photos. We're doing these photos to elevate your brand, to allow you to not only bring in your target audience because you're showing your authenticity, but you're now attracting partnerships and even sponsorships. And when you talk about partnering with people, they want someone who is going to elevate their brand. When they go post, this week we're featuring Joanna Vargas, how does her photos, do you have photos that they're going to be like, she's the aesthetic of our brand, so we want to partner with her because our values align, and what we're teaching is aligned, right? So that I'm thinking of all these things as a stylist. I'm thinking, what season is it? What's her brand colors? What is her target audience? What is she launching? What do we need to say in this next campaign photo shoot?
When you work with a client, are you working every 4 months or every quarter with them to redo their photos?
So now that I've been testing like these packages that I'm putting out of styling, makeup, and photo content brand strategy, now I'm seeing, because if I look at Chanel, I worked for Chanel for 12 years, and actually Chanel when I was studying in college, Chanel was the top 5 most branded companies in the world. So I started
taking any company in the world? Wow.
In the world. I think one of them's Pepsi. I think it's Coca-Cola, Chanel, Mercedes, and there's another one. It might be BMW, but I'm not sure.
So you mean just the logo enough, you'll know that it's Chanel.
Girl, it's global. It's even in the dumps of the dump, the poverty.
Logo.
You see the CC, it's Chanel.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So then I started taking notes, and they do a launch every season. Okay. And they do have a campaign for every season. And so I started saying, okay, I think this is what, obviously I'm taking notes from the best branded business in the world. Then I started thinking, you know what, if I want someone who's like you, a high performer who's going to come to me and she's like, I got my business up. Now I need to take it to the next level and get this media press on me. Then I need a strategy. Right. And so then, that's just what I'm trying to figure out. And I think the best way to go about it is to do it quarterly.
I really like that. Launch every season.
Have a
quarterly, but season sounds more fun than quarterly, at least, vibration. It's kind of fun. Well, fun fact, Rochelle was my makeup artist, and she was there for me for my photo shoot on my, my headphones. That was such a fun one. And I know, as for myself, just a little side note, with the pandemic coming out after the year, and it's now been 15 months, right? As if you're listening to this in real time, for myself, And I wonder if you've noticed this with other girls, Rochelle, where there's been like a pause, or they're just kind of like, I'm not really quite sure where I'm moving forward yet. Next, I haven't felt inspired or ready or like even know where I'm going for my next launch or photo shoot. But now I can kind of feel like, all right, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to have that next launch, so to speak, because I haven't had photos since that one.
Girl, I know. And you could be having so much girl, when I think of you, I'm like the
I,
sponsorship possibilities are
I,
endless. Where's
yes,
Joanna? How come we're not getting
where's
sponsorship?
Joanna? I do want to give light to all the other gals and guys out there that are just like, you know what? This was time for me to hibernate, and now I'm ready to unthaw, so to speak. So I've been frozen. Now I'm thawing out. And I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and we were talking about how we went through winter and now it's like spring. Everything's starting to melt for our own lives.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wake up again and go, okay, I'm ready to do my photo shoots or the new thing. Because I was set, Rochelle, to do photos in March and April of last year.
Oh,
And then it's just like, you know what? I don't even know where I'm going right now. If I were to have a photo shoot, I wouldn't even know what I'm shooting because I don't feel inspired. Have you noticed that with other clients or other women that are just like, I can't even see it right now?
for sure, girl, for sure. I'm dealing. Yeah, I even spoke to someone yesterday, a new stylist that I'll be collaborating who sells vintage designer. Um,
Oh,
and she's like, if you would ask me a year ago, I would have never even thought this business was gonna happen, and
yeah,
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm just running with it.
yeah,
So I was like, oh my God, perfect
yeah,
person for me to be like, girl, well, because I've invested in myself in these business courses, and through the pandemic kept, learning, I'm able
yeah.
to like help women, a step behind me come up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I to myself, oh my gosh, Diva, like just to get into like a quick word, okay, because like you're saying, a lot of women have fallen right back into. So I heard a word the other day, right, and it was so good because like for me, Diva, everything that I do, it has to come from like my source of faith and beauty and joy comes from the Lord. And so what I've learned over and over and over again in my life is when I fall astray from the word, from being in a relationship with God every day, including him into my morning routine, surrendering anything heavy to him, when I'm not, because I got comfortable, because guess what? God provided a way for me. He provided that book chapter. He made a way. And now I was like on these great moments of life, and I forgot about where I need to be every day, which is reading the word, because the word is what gives me complete peace. I had a really when the quarantine started, I had a really bad nightmare that I felt was like, and this is crazy, but it's like it was a demonic hallucination. I feel like it was a hallucination, but I encountered what was like a counterfeit of Jesus calling me in my dream. And in my dream I had to be in soul awareness. Like,
Yes, I've
oh
had
my
those.
God, that's not Jesus. This is a deception, a deceiving moment. I woke up, Joanna. I was trembling,
Yes, I've had those.
scared.
Scared,
I
right?
never had been shaken to my core, and my core was like trembling. My every cell of me. I
Yeah.
I got up and I was like, I had the lights on. I couldn't go to sleep. I was like, there's no way I can even sit down. Like I was standing and I was afraid to even
Mhm.
sit down, to lay down,
Yeah.
to get that. What's happening? Is he coming for me or what?
Yes.
Because I had been sharing the word, heavily that night before and the day before, and I was planning to be baptized that morning. And the
Ooh,
enemy came
interesting.
for me, girl. Yeah, he tries to get you and snatch you and keep you playing small and in fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I was shaken, and the only thing that I thought, because I'm not a reader, girl, it's crazy, but I was like, I need to
Yeah.
read my Bible right now.
We're audio. We want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm visual. So I'm like, give me a show, give me a YouTube,
Yeah,
give me
yeah,
a podcast, even a storyteller.
yeah.
Um, but when I opened the Bible and I started reading the word, my body fell into complete peace because of what I was reading. and that God says, have no fear. Like he's there for me. Right. So recently I learned, I heard a message, and you're so right about retreating, because, you know, like I heard this word, it was like Jesus was a leader, you know, he was a leader, and he was under immense amount of pressure when he walked here. So when he was walking, what he would do is he would go up to the mountain and pray. He retreated, right? Like all of us, I think we needed to retreat. Absolutely. This was like the pandemic. I felt like people were on a stillness, on a hold. Like, hey, hold on, let's prioritize what's important here. Again, family, time, right? Being home, being still, not being you know, distracted with everything else in life. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back home. And that's what also Jesus did when he goes in the mountain and he retreats. It's like us, you know, sometimes us as business women, we need to go on a retreat. On a
retreat, yes. And I have not had a yes. I'm like, I need a retreat
to get centered again, right?
Absolutely.
To get centered. And so that's also, you know, that's also what Jesus did, you know. So we're on the right track, you know, retreating, taking time for ourselves, self-care, pouring back into ourselves, you know. So for me, reading the word is filling my well. Right? It's filling my well up again. So that's kind of what I do in my downtime when I feel. And then what was cool is that, like, I just started getting hungry and having conversations with women in business, and just started kind of customizing what they need, because I could see what they need.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to prepare packages.
Yeah.
And then saying, okay, now I'm going to launch them and let's see who takes it.
I
said, you know what? I'm just going to beta test this. And I hit up my friend Joanna, who's in real estate. She's
I know.
over in real estate.
Shout out to Joanna Viano. Yeah.
Viano Decor. Shout out to her. She's real estate and staging. She's taking off. She says God is the CEO of her business, and she boldly walks in faith. And she's from East Los. She's hungry and creative.
If you're not from Los Angeles, East Los means
East Los,
Los Angeles. You're like, where is that?
You know, and so I reached out to her. I said, hey girl, I sent her a dress that I thought would look cute on her. And I just said to her, hey, I'm reminding you, I'm doing makeup. I'm doing styling now for women in business, and I'm virtually shopping. And she's like, hey, I just hired a videographer 4 times a month to do new videos for my business. And I'm like, girl, you need makeup and styling, you know? So she's like, you got the job, you know, and how can you help me? And so I did her makeup, and now I'm styling her. And now we're in this journey together, learning her personal style and business and elevating her. And it's just so much funner that way. Like, I'm sure you have clients where you know their needs. So you might need to like customize something just for them and just pitch it, you know?
I really like how you reached out to the other Joanna. That's really cool. And I like how you said, Rochelle, how you asked them first, then created it. That's where I am right now. I know I heard something of, Joanna, ask them first, because I want to, I'm getting this calling to create a retreat, like we just said. And then you just said retreat. And I'm like, okay, that's another sign, because I really want to create a retreat. But I'm like, what if then I thought this, okay, everybody else, you know, hand tap if you feel the same way. What if I build it and they don't come? And then I was like, Joanna, why don't you ask them first? Get your customers first and then build it. Meaning, call people up, Instagram, hey, I'm going to do this retreat. Would you want to go? Would you want to be my first one? So, right, like you said, ask them first and then get the retreat. But that's what's been on my heart lately, right?
Ooh, I feel, you know what? Reconnect is what I was. Reconnect, right? You got to reconnect with your people. So what I think is possible for you, Joanna, because obviously, you know, anything's possible, right? If, like how Hazel says, you know, do you believe in miracles, right? And
miracles everywhere,
right? I think that it's important, Joanna, to target the women you truly want to be at your retreat, and that's what's possible. You know, you go after who you want. I've met women on social media through different networks, and now I'm just targeting. I'm just like, I like her. I want her to be in my circle. She aligns with my values. I want to help her. And you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you could totally just target who you want. And that's the awesome part of having your own business, you know?
No. And I
Yeah.
love this conversation about the retreat because I was, I'm going to say, feeling a little bit shameful for like really enjoying the pause and going, oh, we got to get back into the how it was. You know what I mean, Rochelle? And I'm going,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So my moving forward is going, okay, how can I still retreat and how can I still pause and bring that into my, go, go, go life? Because Rochelle, you knew me in the past. I was always go, go, go.
Oh my
And
gosh.
right. And now I'm looking
Yeah.
back
You're a
going,
powerhouse.
yeah, I was actually, what was that? What was I hiding behind? What was I distracting myself with? Because I've fallen in love with the pause, with the slow down. I'm like, I actually like this where I would have never thought I would like it. So
I
that
think
has
you're
been,
just finding balance, you know?
girl, yes. And falling in love with, like, I'm losing my train of thought, but what I want to say is being able to have both of it, Rochelle, because I was under it had to only be one. Even though, Rochelle, if you told me before, I'd be like, oh no, I slowed down. I'm really good. And I
Yeah.
look back, I go, no, you didn't, Joanna. You were work freaking horse. And now it's been a dance to do both. How about yourself, Rochelle? Are you like, what do your days look like? Are you being able to do both, so to speak? And my
Oh, yeah.
computer's dying, so you keep talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna plug this in, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, well, girl, God is good because he brought me back. He brought me back because,
Yeah,
what he's telling me
bring
is,
us
I
back.
fed you. He's saying, I fed you, right? That's scripture. Like, I fed you, and now I need you to go feed my sheep, is what he's telling me. And I'm like, ooh. And then I heard
That's
another word.
good.
I was like, because
Good.
look, God is preparing me to be a leader. Like, I've always been somewhat of a leader, but I feel like I'm breaking out of my shell right now. Like, and I'm becoming this lioness warrior now.
Hmm.
Like, now I'm leading with authority because of who I learned who God says I am, And I feel like I've just had this whole long season through the pandemic, even in 2019, he's just been growing me
Yes.
and
Yes.
pushing me up. And I'm like, no. I'm still having trouble speaking because I cry when I speak publicly.
Hello,
So hello to anyone
choir.
who has fear of speaking. I'm with you. I
I
pray
just
through
cried
it.
through it, girl.
And it's cool because God showed me that. He's like, I partnered with you and I brought you up. I elevated you. But then I went back to my old self, my
Yeah.
old routine, my
Ooh.
old plain small,
Yep.
my old, just brokenness maybe. And because that's what we go back to, we revert back to that. That's our comfort. But he's like, I brought you up and now I need you to move forward. And so he
Woo!
woke me again.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, Lord. And he said, the reason why he said, without me, you, you partnered with me and I showed you what you can have. You went back to your old ways without me. And now when you come back, it's not going to be the same because if I don't have him in it with me. Like, if I'm not being connected to him again. He's like, without me, it's not the same. And there's a story in the Bible where he's fishing. They're fishermen. So that's what God's teaching me to be right now, a fisher of men. Okay, so Peter was a fisherman, right? And he partnered with God and he was getting all the fish. But then he strayed back to his old ways and he actually denied Jesus before man. He denied him. And then this is the good part, Joanna. This is the part that I wanted to share, I think, with everyone today. That's what God's calling me to say this to people. And he's saying, I will meet you where you're at. God says he will meet you where you're at. You don't have to rise to any level of work ethic, of faith, or anything. It's not by works, but he's going to meet you where you're at if you ask him and invite him in. If you ask
Ooh.
God and invite him in, he's going to come to you like he did to Peter. After Peter denied Jesus, Peter went back fishing, and guess what? There was no fish, Joanna, none.
Mm.
And then Jesus
I kind
asked
of
him,
feel like that right now.
he said, "Do you love me?" And he asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" And
Uh-huh.
Peter said, "I do, Lord. I love you. I love you." And he's like, "Then why did you deny me?" You know? And but guess what? The beauty in the story is that God came back for Peter in the boats while Peter was trying to catch fish. And when he went back to his old ways apart from Jesus, Jesus went and met him where he's at and is bringing him home, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
he's saying now, going forward, without, if you're not partnered with me, you can't have what I've given you in the past when you were partnered with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's like, so he woke me recently, and I realized I've fallen back into my old little habits and ways and playing small when he's already promoted me and I need to be moving forward.
Like promoted me, and now I know. Like,
Right.
what am I doing? I'm choosing small again.
That's
Joanna, what's up with this girl? Yes, but here's the thing, Rochelle. I can't see myself have grown as much as I have. Right? How many of us out there? But like, I'll talk to other girlfriends. Like, oh my gosh, Joanna, you're so different. You're just like, but I can't see it. Do you know? And I still feel the same, but I have elevated. But yet I know that there's like so much more. And even like you said, they're like, oh, Joanna, there's so much more. They're like, oh my gosh, I am getting there. And it's like one pebble at a time, one pebble at a time. And it feels slower than it did in my 20s. And I wonder, because I see a lot of my girlfriends right in their 30s. And I feel like it's at that time, Rochelle, like in your 30s, where you're like, okay, what's next? There's something more. And you start to elevate and you're like, okay, now I'm ready for that next chapter in my life.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, you're going places, Diva. I mean, it's all coming together. You know, during the pandemic, girl, I was suffering from how do they say, imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
As a businesswoman, I was, like losing hope.
Who am I?
When I look back, I looked at my life as a bunch of fails.
Mm-hmm.
I looked back and I was like, oh gosh, I failed at fashion design school because I went to fashion design school and never did anything with it. Well, because I moved into branding myself as a makeup artist into the industry, so I took another road, but I felt like it was a
like
fail.
It was a fail, even though it was a different road. Yep.
And then I felt like I failed at Body by Vi because man, I didn't get the car, I didn't get the $1 million.
If you're not familiar, she and I,
it
it was
so
by Salas.
but I didn't do it.
In love with Ryan Blair. I've been meditating with Ryan Blair too.
Yeah, I see those.
My future husband.
Right. And then I think there was like other things that I felt like like Chanel. I was like, man, I really wanted to go higher as an executive in the company or a makeup artist for a big brand, And I saw those as fails, but during that time, during the pandemic, I went to a Christian retreat online, a virtual retreat. Man, and that's when I had learned that like all my life was coming together. Like now.
I know now. Is that what it feels like?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's all intercepting for me then.
Now I'm adding the styling, which is bringing back my love for fashion and what I've learned in the industry, and maybe who knows a fashion line in the future. Like I'm seeing possibilities there for, especially for like plus size women or busty curvy women like myself. There's a lot of opportunity there, especially with shopping now. It's like hard to get things, but I started seeing like all my life coming together, and like this one preacher, she was like, you just need to know that not that things that God puts like the seasons you go through in life, they're not happening to you. Like when we feel like they're a failure, they're happening. Why is this happening to me, God? Right? They're happening for you.
Heck yeah.
And those valleys that we hit are like, to me, I'm seeing them as total like retreat detoxes now, but it does take a hard stumble sometimes, Yeah, it takes a downfall sometimes because we have to get reconnected We have to retreat. We have to fill our well again. We have to like learn what's we have to take a moment. What's distracting me right now, right? And like detox from that, replenish, and then come back up, you know. And that's where I feel like I'm at. And I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna customize this. And God says you don't have to know the how, you just have to have the will.
Yep.
You know, if you have a willingness,
you're not in charge of the how.
Yeah.
Make a choice. Do something. Yes.
Bold faith,
just have the will.
You know,
yes.
That things are possible if you just put yourself out there, you know, and you just, hey, how does this sound? Do you think you need this? Because you know they need it.
Absolutely, Rochelle. Yeah. Well, if somebody listening wants to work with you, because you also will do this virtually. You said you can shop for people virtually. So if they're not in Los Angeles, where you are, how do they get a hold of you? You're mostly on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I operate off Instagram, Rochelle Jaimes Beauty or Glam Goddess XX. Those are my two, my personal handle and my business handle. You know, I'm right now just customizing these packages for women in business. So yeah, my first package is actually a virtual package. So for anyone who wants to start to uncover like what their personal style is, what their best colors are, what their brand colors, like we do this whole consultation where at least I could get them set up so that if they want to work with another makeup artist or photographer,
they know what to get.
We've already created a photo shoot list.
I see.
Girl, because these photographers out here, they don't know branding, okay?
Yeah.
That you have to know, you know, and so because I've done a lot of work on branding and I've been educating myself on branding, I'm like, okay, I know the ropes of branding. I love branding, you know, it's my jam.
Yeah, that's your jam.
So and so I'm like, oh, let me just help women to elevate their business image. And I'm learning a lot even for podcasts right now. I'm taking a class with Jenna Kutcher. She does this free. Girl, I mean, you can monetize your podcast, you know? So it doesn't even have to be photo shoots. So now I'm learning like a whole nother way of, you know, gaining revenue through podcasts, which is, I know you're on your list. So, you know, take tips from her because she's teaching how to, you know, get paid, you know?
Yeah, that's really good that you're doing all this education so they can help your clients because, like I said, with anything you ever hire somebody, find what their niche is for you because just any makeup artist, anybody can make or do your makeup, right? But you want to hire who's going to have that niche that you're going to need, right? So a photographer, are they going to know branding or do they know photos? So good to know when you're hiring somebody, especially as a business owner. Yeah, learn that the hard way. Yeah. Thank you, Rochelle. This was so fun. And I miss you. We got to get together.
I know.
Girls' night out soon.
Girl, let's do this.
Yes, a summer party. And then we are ready. Yeah, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, August, right? Girl, 41.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, so your last year's birthday, 40, was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just went to Nobu last year.
Hey, yum, yum. Love it. Thanks, Rochelle. Appreciate you. Glam Goddess in the house. Wait, side note before we end, are you still doing spray tans?
Girl, my spray tan business is popping off right
now. My gosh, yes. I was just thinking about you. I was like, these white legs need a spray tan.
Come down. Yes, I'm here. I'm doing spray tans.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
One of my new customer is Cesar Milan from
what? The dog whisperer? Oh, you went? Yeah. The thong no or what?
My friend who's a facialist referred me to him, and I just saw him yesterday on his third spray tan. He's promoting a new show coming out, so
he needs some color. Congratulations!
I know.
Well, thanks, Rochelle. And yeah, hit her up on Instagram. It'll be in our show notes if you want to spray tan too, if you're here in Los Angeles. Yeah, she does great spray tans. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye. Remember to get back up.
Bye,